Get ready to hit the gas and hold tight, because the 1970s delivered car chases like no other era. Before computers took over Hollywood, stunt drivers risked everything to pull off raw, real-deal action on film. Exploding tires, near misses, full-throttle pursuits, every moment was captured with grit and guts, not green screens. And wait until you see number 1. It features a stunt that broke a stuntman's back and nearly shut down production. So, here are 15 of the wildest, most unforgettable 70s car chases. No CGI, no fakery, just pure cinematic horsepower. Number 15. The 7-Ups, 1973. Let's kick this off with a chase that'll rearrange your spine just watching it. Roy Scheider tears through Manhattan in a Pontiac, and when I say tears, I mean it literally. They destroyed multiple cars filming this beast. Here's the thing about the 7-Ups. The director was the same guy who produced Bullitt and The French Connection. So yeah, he knew how to make cars go fast and crash hard. The sequence ends with a Pontiac launching its entire roof into the air like a metal frisbee. No CGI, just American steel flying through space. What makes this chase absolutely brutal is the sound design. Every impact, every screech of metal on concrete, every shattering windshield was recorded live. They didn't have fancy sound studios back then. They just mic'd up the cars and let the chaos speak for itself. The Pontiac Ventura's engine note changes as it gets beaten to death, going from a healthy V8 rumble to a mechanical death rattle by the end. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button, because we're just getting started. Number 14. Race with the Devil, 1975. Now here's where things get weird. Picture this. You're on vacation in an RV, you witness a satanic ritual, and now devil worshippers in pickup trucks are trying to kill you. Welcome to the 70s, folks. This chase is pure nightmare fuel. A massive Dodge motorhome becomes a battering ram against cultists throwing Molotov cocktails. The genius? They filmed this on real Texas back roads with real fire. The actors were literally inside the RV while it was being attacked. That's not method acting, that's borderline insanity. The beauty of this chase is how it turns the American road trip dream into a complete nightmare. Here's this family RV, the symbol of wholesome vacation fun, getting turned into a mobile fortress. Peter Fonda and Warren Oates are inside, probably wondering if their insurance covers satanic cult attacks. The RV takes so much damage during filming that they had to reinforce it between takes just to keep it running. Number 13. Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, 1974. Clint Eastwood and Jeff Bridges steal cars like they're borrowing sugar from neighbors. First, they jack a Trans Am straight off a dealer lot, and yes, that was a real dealership, real car, real theft scene. But here's where it gets spicy. Later in the film, they're cruising in a Buick when George Kennedy starts blasting it with a shotgun. Real bullets, real glass exploding, real oh crap moments. The car looks like Swiss cheese by the end. Montana roads have never seen this level of automotive carnage. The Trans Am theft scene is comedy gold mixed with automotive lust. Bridges walks onto the lot like he owns the place, fires up that 455 Super Duty, and the sound alone probably sold 1,000 Trans Ams. That engine note, deep, throaty, absolutely menacing, was the sound of American muscle at its peak. The salesman's face when he realizes what's happening is priceless. It's like watching someone steal the Mona Lisa, except the Mona Lisa has 455 cubic inches of fury under the hood. Number 12. The Gumball Rally, 1976. Time for some coast-to-coast chaos. This film features a real Shelby Cobra, not a replica, the actual deal, screaming from New York to California. The opening scene in Manhattan traffic will make your ears bleed from the engine noise alone. The best part? they filmed cars racing through the LA River, which later became famous in Terminator 2. Except this time, it was real speed, real danger, and real, "Are we gonna die today?" Energy. The Cobra's engine note could wake the dead. That Shelby Cobra wasn't just any car, it was chassis CSX 3243, a genuine 427 SC worth more than most people's houses. The owner, Les Lindley, must have been either incredibly trusting or completely insane to let Hollywood use his $250,000 baby as a stunt car. When that 427 big block fires up in Manhattan traffic, it's like a mechanical earthquake. Car alarms start going off, windows rattle, and pedestrians stop dead in their tracks. Number 11. Cannonball, 1976. Speaking of cross-country madness, David Carradine takes a Trans Am from LA to New York, and the body count is spectacular. They wrecked over 50 vehicles making this film. 50. That's not a movie budget. That's a demolition derby with cameras. One scene shows a Corvette literally flying off a cliff. No miniatures, no models, just a real Corvette saying goodbye to gravity. The 70s were a different time when directors measured success by how many cars they could destroy. The Trans Am that Carradine drives becomes a character itself. By the end of the film, it's held together with duct tape and prayer. The 400 cubic inch V8 starts the movie purring like a mechanical panther and ends up sounding like a dying rhinoceros. But it keeps running, which says something about 70s American engineering. These cars were built to take abuse. The cross-country format also showcases America's diverse landscapes, from California deserts to Midwest farmland, all at illegal speeds with questionable safety equipment. Number 10. White Lightning, 1973. Burt Reynolds before he became the Bandit, tearing through Arkansas like his pants are on fire. The big stunt? Launching a Ford off a riverbank onto a moving barge. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. The stunt went sideways, literally. The car landed in the water, and Burt Reynolds himself dove in to rescue the stuntman. That's not in the script, folks. That's real-life heroics caught on camera. The Southern charm mixed with automotive mayhem makes this one unforgettable. Hal Needham was behind the wheel for that barge jump, and when things went wrong, they went really wrong. The Ford Custom 500 was supposed to land cleanly on the barge deck, but physics had other plans. Instead of a perfect landing, the car clipped the barge's edge and started sinking into the Arkansas River. Needham was trapped inside, and without hesitation, Burt Reynolds, still in costume, dove into that muddy water to pull his friend out. Number 9. The Driver, 1978. Ryan O'Neal plays a getaway driver so cool he doesn't even have a name. Just Driver. And this guy can make a Ford Galaxy dance like a ballerina on steroids. The underground parking garage scene is pure automotive poetry. O'Neal demolishes a brand new Mercedes just to prove he's the best driver alive. Watching that luxury car get systematically destroyed is both beautiful and heartbreaking. It's like watching someone use a Stradivarius as a baseball bat. Walter Hill's direction strips away everything unnecessary. No character backstories, no romantic subplots, just pure automotive zen. The driver exists only to drive, and O'Neal plays him with the emotional range of a precision instrument. When he's behind the wheel, he becomes something more than human. He's a mechanical extension of the car itself. The Ford Galaxy 500 was chosen specifically because it's not a sports car. It's a big, heavy sedan that shouldn't be able to do what O'Neal makes it do. Number 8. Mad Max, 1979. Australia gave us this apocalyptic masterpiece, and it's absolutely mental. They filmed on public roads with real traffic, which means those near misses with civilians? Yeah, those were actually near misses. The Pursuit Special, that black beast with the supercharger, became more famous than most Hollywood actors. When the Knight Rider's car explodes at the beginning, that's real fire, real explosion, real holy crap moment. Mad Max didn't just raise the stakes, it threw them into a wood chipper. George Miller was a doctor before he became a filmmaker, which explains his intimate knowledge of what high-speed crashes do to human bodies. The opening Knight Rider sequence sets the tone immediately. This isn't a game, people die, and cars become weapons of mass destruction. The Holden Monaro that the Knight Rider drives is a genuine Australian muscle car, and when it finally crashes and burns, that's real gasoline, real fire, and real danger. The Pursuit Special deserves its own paragraph because it's not just a car, it's a character. The 1973 Ford Falcon XB-GT was already a beast, but the modifications turned it into something from a fever dream. Okay, hold up. If you thought those were intense, the next few are going to melt your brain. We're talking stunts that literally broke bones and chases that redefined cinema. Make sure you're subscribed because number 4 features a stunt so crazy it's still illegal to attempt today. Number 7, Smokey and the Bandit, 1977. Burt Reynolds in a Trans Am, running beer across state lines. Sounds simple? The Mulberry Bridge jump says otherwise. They launched that Trans Am over a real bridge gap, and the landing destroyed the car completely. One take, one car, one massive oh shit moment. Hal Needham, the director, was a stuntman himself. So when he said, "Let's jump this car," he meant business. The black and gold Trans Am became more iconic than most movie stars. And that engine sound? Pure American thunder. The genius of Smokey and the Bandit is how it turned a simple beer run into an epic cross-state adventure. The Trans Am Special Edition wasn't just transportation, it was a rolling symbol of rebellion against authority. That 400 cubic inch V8 under the hood was the sound of freedom. And when Burt Reynolds mashed the throttle, every red-blooded American felt it in their soul. The black and gold paint scheme became so iconic that Pontiac couldn't build them fast enough to meet demand. The Mulberry Bridge jump is automotive legend. They built a special Trans Am just for the stunt, reinforced frame, roll cage, and a NASCAR engine putting out over 750 horsepower. The jump itself was calculated down to the mile per hour, but when you're launching 2 tons of Detroit iron through the air, calculations only get you so far. The landing was so violent, it compressed the suspension completely and cracked the frame. The car was totaled, but the shot was perfect. Needham used 4 Trans Ams during filming, and 3 of them didn't survive. That's not filmmaking, that's automotive sacrifice for the greater good of entertainment. Number 6, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, 1974. Peter Fonda and friends rob a supermarket and flee in a Dodge Charger. The chase through California farmland is spectacular, but the ending? Brutal. They slam into a freight train at full speed. Real train, real collision, real, did they just kill the heroes? Moment. The helicopter shots were filmed dangerously low, with the pilot basically skimming treetops. No safety regulations, no insurance company approval, just pure 70s, let's see what happens, filmmaking. The Dodge Charger RT in this film is a perfect example of Mopar muscle at its finest. That 440 Magnum 5.8 produces 375 horsepower of pure American fury, and the sound it makes screaming through California's Central Valley is automotive poetry. The car becomes a character in its own right, not just transportation, but a symbol of freedom and rebellion. When it's finally destroyed, it feels like losing a friend. John Huff's direction captures the desperation of the chase perfectly. These aren't professional criminals. They're amateurs in over their heads, and the Charger is their only hope of escape. The helicopter sequences were shot with a Bell Jet Ranger flying so low the rotor wash was kicking up dust clouds. The pilot, Frank Tallman, was a legendary Hollywood aviator who specialized in dangerous flying sequences. The train collision at the end was filmed with a real Alco S1 locomotive and a real Charger. No miniatures, no special effects, just two massive pieces of machinery meeting at high speed with predictably catastrophic results. Number 5. Gone in 60 Seconds, 1974. H.B. Halicki was either a genius or completely insane, probably both. He filmed a 40-minute chase scene, the longest in movie history, and destroyed 93 cars doing it. 93! The man crashed into a light pole at 100 miles per hour and broke his back. Did he stop filming? Nope. He came back days later to finish the scene. Eleanor, the Mustang, became a legend, but Halicki became a myth. This isn't filmmaking, it's automotive warfare. Halicki didn't just make a movie, he created an automotive apocalypse. The 40-minute chase sequence through Long Beach, California is like watching a one-man demolition derby with a budget. Every crash, every near miss, every moment of automotive mayhem was real. Halicki performed 99% of the driving himself, which explains why the action feels so authentic. Because it was. When Eleanor jumps that 30-foot gap at the end, that's Halicki behind the wheel, not a stunt double. The light pole crash is the stuff of legend. Halicki was doing 100 miles per hour when he hit that pole, and the impact compressed 3 vertebrae in his spine. Most people would have called it quits, maybe sued the insurance company, and retired to a nice quiet desk job. Not Halicki. He showed up 3 days later in a back brace, got behind the wheel, and finished the scene. The man was either the bravest filmmaker who ever lived or the craziest, and honestly, there might not be a difference. Eleanor herself, the 1973 Mustang Mach 1, became the only car in cinema history to get star billing. That 351 Cleveland 5 of 8 under the hood was the heartbeat of automotive rebellion. Number 4. The French Connection, 1971. Gene Hackman chasing a subway train in a commandeered car through Brooklyn traffic. Here's the kicker. They didn't have permits. They didn't have permission. They just drove through real traffic at 90 miles per hour and hoped nobody died. One crash with a civilian car was so authentic, they kept it in the movie. The director was in the back seat with a handheld camera, probably praying they'd survive. This chase redefined what realistic meant in cinema. It's not a movie scene, it's barely controlled chaos. William Friedkin's guerrilla filmmaking approach created something that had never been seen before. A car chase that felt completely real because it basically was. Bill Hickman, the stunt driver, was weaving through actual Brooklyn traffic in a commandeered Pontiac Le Mans, with real pedestrians, real cars, and real danger at every intersection. The only safety measure was a few off-duty cops at major intersections, and even they didn't know exactly when the chase car would come screaming through. The collision with the civilian car wasn't planned, wasn't scripted, and definitely wasn't legal. But when it happened, Friedkin made a split-second decision that defined his career. He kept rolling. The impact was real, the damage was real, and the shock on everyone's faces was absolutely genuine. The Le Mans' 350 cubic inch V8 was screaming at redline for most of the chase, and you can hear the engine note changing as it gets pushed beyond its limits. This wasn't just a car chase, it was automotive journalism, documenting what happens when you push American iron to its absolute breaking point on city streets. Number 3. Vanishing Point, 1971. Barry Newman drives a Dodge Challenger across America, and it's pure automotive poetry. The opening scene, which is actually the ending, shows him driving straight into a police roadblock at full throttle. no braking, no turning, just commitment to the bit. They used 5 identical challengers and beat them all to death. The desert highway scenes are hypnotic, just man, machine, and endless asphalt. It's an existential crisis with a 440 Magnum soundtrack. Vanishing Point is the ultimate expression of American automotive freedom. Kowalski's journey across the Southwest isn't just a delivery job. It's a spiritual quest powered by 375 horsepower of Mopar muscle. The 1970 Challenger RT was Dodge's answer to the Mustang and Camaro, and in this film, it becomes a symbol of rebellion against authority, conformity, and the establishment. That 440 Magnum 5.8 doesn't just move the car, it moves the soul. Richard Sarafian's direction captures the hypnotic rhythm of long-distance driving. The desert sequences feel like automotive meditation. Endless highways, heat shimmer, and the constant drone of the Challenger's engine creating a trance-like state. The radio DJ, Super Soul, becomes Kowalski's spiritual guide, turning the chase into a mythic journey. When that final collision comes, it's not just a car crash, it's the end of an era. The counterculture movement, the belief in absolute freedom, the idea that you could outrun society itself. It all dies with Kowalski and his Challenger in a cloud of dust and twisted metal. Number 2. Duel, 1971. Steven Spielberg's first film, and it's terrifying. A Plymouth Valiant versus a massive truck, and the truck driver is basically a mechanical serial killer. The genius? You never see the truck driver's face. The truck itself becomes the villain. This is automotive horror at its purest. No explosions, no gunfights, just 2 vehicles locked in a deathmatch across the desert. The Valiant's tiny engine wheezing up hills while that diesel monster stalks behind is pure nightmare fuel. Duel proves that sometimes the simplest concepts are the most terrifying. Dennis Weaver's character is just a regular guy in a regular car, a 1971 Plymouth Valiant with a modest 225 cubic inch slant-6 engine who makes the mistake of passing a truck on a desert highway. What follows is 90 minutes of automotive terror that feels more real than any horror movie monster. The truck driver remains faceless, turning the Peterbilt 281 itself into the antagonist. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Number 1 features the most famous car chase ever filmed, with a stunt so dangerous it's still talked about 50 years later. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. You don't want to miss this. Number 1. Bullitt, 1968. Steve McQueen, Mustang versus Charger, San Francisco Hills. This is the chase that started it all. Here's what makes Bullitt legendary. No music, no dialogue, just pure engine noise and tire screech. McQueen did his own driving, hitting 110 miles per hour through city streets. When he misses a turn and does a reverse burnout, that wasn't scripted. It was a real mistake that looked so cool they kept it. The Charger flying over those San Francisco hills is automotive ballet. The sound of that 440 Magnum echoing off buildings is pure mechanical poetry. This chase didn't just influence every car chase that followed. It created the template. Peter Yates and Steve McQueen didn't just make a car chase, they created automotive scripture. Every director since 1968 has been trying to recreate the magic of those 10 minutes and 53 seconds of pure cinematic adrenaline. The decision to strip away all music and dialogue was revolutionary. Just the raw sound of American muscle cars at war in an urban environment. The 1968 Mustang GT 390 Fastback versus the 1968 Dodge Charger RT 440 Magnum wasn't just a chase, it was a philosophical debate between Ford and Chrysler Engineering, settled at 110 miles per hour on Russian Hill. They filmed for 3 weeks, destroyed multiple cars, and created cinematic history. Every modern chase scene is trying to capture what Bullitt did naturally, the perfect marriage of man, machine, and pure adrenaline. This is why we love the 70s. Real cars, real danger, real cinema. No computers, no safety nets, just skilled drivers and the courage to push American muscle to its absolute limit. These 15 chases prove that sometimes the best special effects are no special effects at all. Real steel, real speed, real danger. If you love this countdown, smash that subscribe button and check out our next video on the greatest muscle cars ever built. And hey, which chase got your heart racing the most? Let us know in the comments.